Okay, so in this video, we're going to learn how to do a single sample or one sample t-test in SPSS. At this point, you've probably already um, dragged to the desktop the ASP Data 2 folder. So we're going to do the analysis in the SPSS file called ASP Data 2. So in order to open it, just double click on it and the file will open. And you can run the analysis. Again, you can always run an analysis from either the data view or from the variable view. It really doesn't matter. Again, the variable view helps you in that it tells you what the values of the categorical variables are. The data view helps you because it gives you an idea or a chance to eyeball the actual data. Anyway, we're going to run a single sample or one sample t-test on cat reading. Cat reading used to be a normed reference test used many, many years ago. If I haven't told you already, this data is actually real data from studies that I did many years ago. So it does represent actual students. Anyway, so we're going to run a single sample t-test on cat reading to see if this group's average cat reading score is significantly different than what the population cat reading mean score is. So in order to run the test, we click on Analyze. And of course, we're comparing means again, our mean for our local population to the overall mean for the entire population. So we go to Compare Means. You'll see another window pop up on the right-hand side, and you want to select from this little window the one sample t-test. Click on it. A box or window pane opens up in the middle of your computer. You'll notice it says one sample t-test. This is a very simple test to run. So what we do is we find the variable that we want to test, which is cat reading, select it in the left-hand window pane, use the arrow to throw it over into the right-hand window pane. Now, the important thing is we have to put a value in for what's called the test value. The test value is the actual population mean that we are going to compare our local cat reading mean score to. In other words, this will calculate the local, or the data that we have here, mean for the cat reading, and we're going to compare it to a known value or a known population mean here, okay? So in this case, I happen to know that at the time, the average or the mean population score for cat reading was approximately 60. So I type in the number 60. This represents the population mean that we're going to compare our local population mean to see if there's a statistically significant difference. Once I've put that value in, it's very simple. I just click OK. And SPSS runs a one sample or single sample t-test, and the output then appears. So the top table gives us the descriptive statistics on our sample. So our sample, it consists of 176 students. Their average or mean score for the cat reading was 63.49 with a standard deviation of 16.156. Okay, so this is what our local population's average cat reading score is, 63.49. And we're going to compare that to a known population mean for the cat reading score of 60. Okay, and I got that number because I happened to know at the time that that was, when I was actually doing this analysis, that that was the average score for the population, the overall population. The second table here, okay, is the actual one sample t-test output. Again, the test value 60 represents the overall population mean that we're comparing our local population mean to. So in the table here, it gives us our t statistic, which is 2.869, the degrees of freedom. And then, of course, the most important thing, which is this cell here, which says significance two-tailed. This is going to tell us if the difference between this mean and this mean, which actually appears here in our table output, 3.494, if that mean difference is significant. This tells us that it is significant. 0.005 is a level of significance. Remember, in SPSS always reports the precise significance level. And so long as this value in here is equal to or less than 0.05, you have a significant finding, a significant difference or a significant finding. Here, it's 0.005, which obviously meets the threshold, so this is a significant finding. So this 3.494 points is significantly different. So our local population's average cat reading score is significantly different than the overall population, 60. And it seems to indicate that our local group performs better than the overall population. The confidence intervals are also chosen, or are also here, 1.09 and 5.90. So what this tells us, okay, now SPSS actually gives us something a little bit different as far as the confidence intervals are concerned. This tells us that the actual difference between our local, the actual mean difference between our local group and the overall population is somewhere between 1.09 and 5.90. For this specific sample, whose mean was 63.49, the difference was 3.494. What this tells us, though, is that if we were to take out all the possible sample means and all the possible sample means, there's going to be a difference between 1.09 from the lowest to 5.9 for the highest, and that the actual mean difference for all sample means is somewhere between 1.09 and 5.90. So that's a way to run a single sample t-test. Very easy, heck of a lot easier than doing all those calculations, I know. But anyway, that's the way to run a single sample t-test. Okay? Good luck.